All right, we're back here with the last part 4 on criticisms and feedback. So there are two kinds of criticisms that can occur, okay? So there's constructive criticism or deconstructive criticism. So you can either say positive or negative, whatever terms you want to use. So the constructive criticism is designed to provide genuine feedback, right? In a helpful and non-threatening way in order that that person being criticized may not be hurt, but learn and grow from it, right? So the feedback is typically valid, and that it's true. So how most employers would typically give some criticism or feedback is through the sandwich method, or at least that's the way I think it's the most effective, right? So if you're a supervisor and you're wanting to offer criticism, start with something that they do that's positive, and then maybe put in the piece that maybe you would like them to work on that it needs some the criticism, right? And then sandwich it again with something that's a little bit more positive, okay? So deconstructive criticism is either not valid, is not true, or it's delivered in an unfavorable way, right? So it's not useful or helpful. It's often given by someone without much thought, or can be designed to be embarrassing or hurtful, right? So being considerate of that, if you are the supervisor having to offer the criticism, please make sure you're doing it in a constructive way so that you can bring out the most positive, effective work from your employees, right? And when you're thinking about how you would like to receive criticism or feedback from your supervisor, that's a good way to look at it, right? So making sure that when you're offering it, that it's true and it's put in a positive manner. So there's 3 kinds of responses that a person could have to that said criticism, right? So there's a passive response, an aggressive response, or an assertive response. So the passive one is, it can be difficult to respond well to criticism, right? So we may just run and hide or feel hurt, maybe even confused. We may tend to just agree with any criticism, whether it's valid or not. And then maybe later on we may reapproach it ourselves and go, that I didn't like that, or oh, maybe it was okay. But the passive is to avoid that conflict, or not necessarily conflict, but avoid that situation, right? So then the aggressive one would be if we tend to respond aggressively. They'll want to attack back to that person, or maybe even then attack back with some sort of feedback or criticism to them that you feel towards that person. You may become defensive. Those are more of an aggressive response, right? The assertive response would be where you can identify the differences between the constructive and deconstructive criticism, right? And respond appropriately. Sometimes, I know for myself, I may come across passive in a situation where I'm getting criticism or feedback from my supervisor or boss. However, once I've had time to think about it a little bit, I may go back to them, because then I'm a little bit more clear in my thought process, right? And I'm able to communicate a little bit more effectively once I've had time to think about it. Yeah, and so then I have one more little video here that I wanted to share with you specifically about criticism feedbacks as well. Okay, so hold on while I switch screens again here. Oops, no. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start this for you, and I'll get out of the way so you can hear it.
When you give feedback to members of your team, is it a positive process, or is it one that everyone dreads? Feedback is an essential part of a person's learning and growth, and none of us can fully develop without it. But how well you give feedback affects people's morale and confidence, as well as their ability to improve. So how can you make it a more positive experience? First, make sure it's timely. When there's a specific issue or concern you need to talk about, try to do it soon after the event. This way, it's fresh on people's minds, and you can give specific advice that's relevant and immediate. Next, give feedback in private. It's one thing to praise someone publicly, but it's quite different to criticize them in front of their peers. As you're talking to the other person, use I statements. This communicates your perspective and helps you avoid any questionable judgments about their character or motives. For instance, you might say, "I was upset and hurt that you showed up late to yesterday's meeting," instead of saying, "Showing up late yesterday was insensitive." Also, try to keep your feedback focused on 2 issues or fewer. Any more than that, and the other person might feel attacked, which will affect their confidence and morale. Feedback is an important part of learning, and it can be a positive and constructive experience if you know how to do it with finesse. To learn more about how to give feedback effectively, see the article that accompanies this video.
Okay, so that video again sums up exactly what I was wanting to connect with you about with regards to feedback and criticisms. Okay, so let's just go back to our slide here. Sorry, trying to get to the last slide here for you guys. So come back again to the question and answer period on Facebook Live on April 29th at 2 p.m. And we're going to talk more about what this video had talked about, so building relationships and communication. So if you have any questions or things that you want to talk more about with regards to this topic, please come join me on that day. And then also on May 1st, Friday, May 1st, I will have another Facebook Live for a check-in. And then the following week from May 4th and May 6th, it's going to be Margie who is going to be doing the workshops and the Facebook Live. So please stay tuned for that as well with her. And stay tuned to the YouTube channel for these videos and continue connecting to our Facebook group through Career Connections. And I look forward to seeing everybody and hearing from everybody again. All right, have a good day, everybody.